Today I'm sharing another modern calligraphy lettering style with you. Modern calligraphy differs from traditional calligraphy as there are few rules and you're free to create your own style of letter forms. I named this style Marcelle, and you can print a free guide from madebymarzipan.com. The paper you use for calligraphy makes a big difference. Notebook paper and copy paper tend to snag and get small fibers in your nib. I like to use papers from Strathmore's Writing Series. Alternately, Bristol smooth paper is a good choice, although it is unlined. You'll also need a dip pen and nib. I'll be using a custom-made nib holder with a Speedball C-2 nib. However, any holder is fine. I recommend India ink for beginners, and the brand doesn't make much of a difference. You can also experiment with acrylic inks or watercolors. I like to pour my ink in a tiny Dappen dish because it's the perfect depth for dipping and doesn't tip over easily. You can find these for a couple of dollars at a beauty supply store. Fold a piece of scratch paper and place it nearby. It's important that you use a quality piece of paper for this, as cheap paper will get caught on your nib. Dip your nib into the ink, wipe the excess ink on the side of the dish, and make a stroke on the scratch paper to reduce the chance of puddling on your work. Use the Marcelle guide to draw your letters. When you draw your pen upward, lightly touch the nib to the paper. When drawing downward, press firmly to open the tines of the nib and create a thick shade. My capital letters are taking up 2 lines, with descenders dipping down into the third. Some of these letters end with a curl. For those that don't, such as J and S, end the stroke with a flicking motion, snapping the nib quickly off the page. If you run out of ink mid-stroke, dip your pen and then retrace the beginning of the stroke to achieve a smooth line. The lowercase letters for Marcelle should look pretty familiar, and most will come naturally to you. For the letters I and R, leave an open loop. The letter K is a little tricky because it starts at top right and pulls left before drawing downward. Lowercase m has 1 tall bump and 1 smaller bump, as does W. You can achieve different moods with this lettering style by adjusting the spacing and placement.
I don't feel afraid to innovate. Don't miss a chance to be creative. Don't. Why don't I try this at home? Try this at home.
With modern calligraphy, there are no rules about keeping the letters a consistent size. so feel free to experiment with what you like best. When you're finished, return the unused ink to the bottle and clean your nib with water. Remember to dry it thoroughly with a cotton rag to prevent rust. For additional lettering styles and more modern calligraphy tutorials, please visit my website, madebymarzipan.com, and click on the Lettering tab.
Try this at home.